You know, a 9-win season isn't disappointing for many teams, but it was for LSU in 2024. With the expanded college football playoff, the Tigers were expected to contend for one of the 12 spots. And it looked like they were going to do just that. Midway through the season, found themselves with just one loss, ranked number 8 in the entire country. But then they lost 3 straight games to Texas A&M, Alabama, and Florida, all by double digits, knocking them out of the college football playoff race before they finished the year on a 3-game winning streak, including a bowl win over Baylor. But now, entering 2025, the Tigers need to make the college football playoff. They need to be better than they were last year. This is a bigger year for Brian Kelly than people realize, and we're here to break it down for you right now. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Ready to talk some LSU football as we get closer and closer to the start of this college football season. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. That is home to our expert picks, which will be some of the best in the country once again this season. Again, it's going to be here before you know it. Home to our newsletters, which will be starting up very soon. And tons of exclusive content to help you get through this offseason. And obviously content you're going to want to have once the season starts. So go check it out. The link for that down in the description below. We want you to take advantage of it. We want you to be a member of our GE Nation all year long, because we are talking football with you all year long. So, again, this feels like a bigger year for Brian Kelly than people realize. He hasn't been bad at LSU, right? 2 double-digit win seasons, a 9-win season this last year, 29-11 in 3 years in Baton Rouge, a perfect 3-0 in bowl games with the Tigers. But he has not won an SEC championship. He has not made the college football playoff. And granted, up until this last year, it was only a 4-team playoff, a lot harder to get in them. But still, LSU expects to contend for national titles. They expect to contend for SEC titles. They don't expect to go 8-4 in the regular season like they did last year. They don't expect mediocre bowl games. They expect bigger and better things. Can they get to that point this year? And again, we'll have our official prediction for LSU coming out here in just a few months. But if you're previewing LSU just briefly right now, you take a look at the offense first. It's huge that they've got a veteran quarterback returning. Garrett Nussmeier put up some pretty big numbers last year. Should be even better in 2025. Threw for over 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns last season. Massive that he returned to play for the Tigers this year. But the rest of the offense is going to be interesting, right? The offensive line is going to have 4 new starters. Last year's offensive line only gave up 16 sacks. They did a great job of protecting Nussmeier. Can they do it again with all these new pieces in 2025? The wide receiver core is going to be very interesting. They do add Nick Anderson in from the transfer portal, but who else is going to be able to step up for the Tigers as well? They've got Caden Durham, who was phenomenal as a freshman last year, over 753 rushing yards, 260 reception yards, so over 1,000 combined yards, 1,000 total yards for Durham at running back, again, just as a freshman. But who else is going to be there besides him, out behind him? So you've got a lot of guys that, this is an LSU team naturally that's filled with talent, a team that went out and added 16 players to the transfer portal and also added tons to the high school recruiting class. I mean, Brian Kelly continuing to do a phenomenal job there. But outside of Nussmeier, outside of a proven receiver in Anderson, outside of a freshman phenom in Durham, what is this offense going to look like? Who steps up at wide receiver? Who steps up on the offensive line? It's going to be very interesting to see how this works out and how quickly this offense gels in 2025, especially considering they opened the year at Clemson. We'll talk on that in a second. You look at the defense for LSU. Over the last couple of years, you could argue the defense has certainly been an issue for the Tigers. Great offense a couple of years ago when they had Jane Daniels. Offense was great, defense not so much. Improved a little bit last year, should improve again this year. The defense seems to be in pretty good shape. Harold Perkins returning to anchor that linebacking core. Got injured last year, should return from his injury at full strength. That's going to be massive for LSU to have him right in the center of their defense. The defensive line is what scares me too. It scares me in a good way. Defensive line looks really good. Patrick Payton transferring in from Florida State. Jack Pyburn transferring in from Florida. So you've got very good guys up front. Got a great linebacking core. The front 7 looks really good. And the secondary has got a lot of good young pieces there as well. DJ Pickett is getting a lot of hype down in Baton Rouge right now. You've got Ashton Stamps back there as well. This defense, I think, is better than people realize for LSU. I think sometimes we use recency bias, or sometimes recency bias stretches a few years. LSU's defense is bad, or they're not going to be that good. Well, no, you can't do that. You've got to base it on a year-to-year basis. This is a completely new year, completely new season for the Tigers, and they've got a lot of talent, both from a young standpoint, young talent, but also experienced talent, whether it's returning starters or guys they have added from the transfer portal that were making impacts at their respective schools. So this LSU team, I think, is maybe better than people think. Last year they started the year off at number 13 in the country. They lost the season opener to USC. Everybody freaked out. They went on that massive win streak, got into the top 10, and then went on a massive lose streak. I don't know what's going to be in the cards for the Tigers this year, but the talent is absolutely there. The schedule is just something that they're going to have to navigate, though, and it's kind of concerning for me. Life is tough in the SEC. We know that. But luckily for LSU and everybody else in the SEC, really everybody else in the country, you can still make the playoff, as we've seen, with 2 losses. You might even be able to get in with 3 losses. And that's very, very encouraging because, look, they opened the year at Clemson, as we mentioned. That is a tough, tough matchup, the battle of the Death Valleys. But Clemson, the team that should be a top 10 team to start the year, made the playoff last year, champions of the ACC, are arguably going to be even better this year than they were last year. It's a very tough place to play and a very good Clemson team in all facets of the game. So something to watch for there. It's going to be a great measuring stick. If LSU loses that game, it is not the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world they lost to USC last year either. And Clemson's certainly going to be a better loss, if there is such a thing, than the USC loss was. But then after that, once you get into conference play, that's where obviously the season's going to be made for the Tigers. They do have to travel to Ole Miss. They have to travel to Alabama, who destroyed them last year, and they have to travel to Oklahoma. None of those games are going to be easy. But keep in mind, last year, who did LSU lose to? They lost to USC, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Florida. Yes, they have to play Alabama on the road. They don't have to play USC. Substitute that for Clemson. They play A&M and Florida in Death Valley. So 2 of the teams they lost to last year have to come to Baton Rouge. And we know how hard it is to win in Death Valley. We know how well LSU has played at home under Brian Kelly over these last 3 years. So they're hosting Florida. They're hosting South Carolina, who is going to be a very good team this year. And they're hosting Texas A&M. So some of the bigger games for them going to be at home. Ole Miss will not be easy. Alabama will not be easy. Oklahoma will be better than people realize. But I'm looking at the schedule. And if LSU takes care of business at home, and that probably means going undefeated at home, right? And I know it's easier said than done. But defend your home field as you should. Hype yourself up as one of the best and toughest places to play in the country. Defend it. If you do that, and then just split the 4 tough road games that we're talking about here. So if you find a way to win just 2 of Clemson, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oklahoma, and you run the table at home and win any other, I think they play at Vanderbilt. They should win that. Vanderbilt improving, but still, find a way to win those. You're going to the playoff, right? A 10-2 LSU team with maybe a loss to Alabama and Clemson, they're going to the playoff, right? And honestly, if one of their losses to Clemson and they only have 1 loss in conference play, they could be in the running for an SEC championship spot. Because that would only be 1 conference loss. Should be good enough to get them in, depending on how Bama, Georgia, Texas, teams like that do. Regardless, the schedule is very tough, but the fact they get so many big games at home benefits LSU. You don't have to win all the road games. Again, if you just split them. If you just split those road games and take care of business at home, you are in. The talent is there. The coaching is there. Kelly, as much hate as he gets, whether it was during his time at Notre Dame, maybe it's his brief time that he's had in Baton Rouge, he gets criticized quite a bit. He's a dang good football coach. He's been there before. He can get LSU there. This could be the year, especially with the expanded playoff. Everything is lining up for them, but will the Tigers actually deliver? We're just going to have to wait and see. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Again, we will have our official LSU prediction coming up here in just a few months. Do not miss out on that. We'll be predicting every single game, more in-depth analysis on the Tigers as well as every other team as we get closer and closer to the start of the season. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on those videos when they roll around. Check out everything down in the description below so you don't miss out on any other insights that we're going to be sharing with you over the course of this offseason. All that stuff, guys, helps you become a member of our GE Nation and talk football with us year-round because, again, the season's going to be here before you know it. So make sure you go check it all out. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.